My video for March 25th, 2018, and March 25th, by the way, was my dad's birthday. Anyway, it asks a question: does the shape of Earth really matter? Okay, I'll tackle this controversial subject again. The video I shared that indicated the likelihood that the world in which the trees were silica-based was destroyed, and our more modern world has carbon-based trees, brought up a lot of controversy. And I don't have the brought up a lot of controversy, but I realize as I'm reading that sentence, it's not a complete thought. Anyway, continuing what I wrote down, it also revealed probable evidence that there has been major mining on this planet, and much of what we have been told are geological processes are in fact evidence of extensive mining. These were certainly claims worth pondering, to me and many others, I'm sure. What riled me, however, were the flat earth claims. Ever since discovering the account of the Norwegian father and son who sailed to the North Pole, then through the center of the earth coming out by Antarctica, I became convinced that the earth is hollow. Testimony from Admiral Byrd also indicated the same thing, a hollow earth. Now, if flat, is it layered? I'm not sure that concept will please the flat earthers, but unless we can learn to love one another and stop being enslaved by demons, we'll destroy whatever earth we live on, no matter what the shape. We need to stop being diverted to things that do not matter and focus on what will preserve life on the beautiful planet. Yeah, I mean, it is very perplexing, and my thoughts continue to go, but this time I stop, and I've got to create a video out of this one. I can't let it ride like I did yesterday and then get ready to go to bed and realize I hadn't made a video or nor even written a blurb, which was the case. Folks, I wrestle with these things, and I've been wrestling with them for a long time because I know intuitively that there are forces at work on this planet. Whatever label you want to put on those forces are all about destruction, all about war, all about profit, which is based on a monetary system which in itself is a slavery system that we have to understand. Money was used to enslave us without chains. It's a mental construct that creates for us a bondage, that we think that money is our salvation, when in fact money is not our salvation, it's our destruction. We have to get this through our head, that those beings, whether they're demons or extraterrestrials or whatever they are dark forces that profit from both deception and from conflict. And we have to be able to rise above that and get to a point where we stop fighting over nonsensical things, including which religion is the right one, when they all have elements of truth and they all have elements of error. It's a mixed bag. And you say, Ron, well, that's because we live in a polarized world. Indeed, it's polarized. How can we rise above the polarization, accept the fact that positive and negative are necessary for physical life to exist at all, and not use the positive and negative factors as something that clashes with each other, and realize that it's something that holds it together? It seems so simple and so logical to me. Why do we as humans have such a strong tendency to miss the obvious? Why is it that we are so easily led off on tangents that pit us against each other and override the cohesiveness that is necessary to create a sustaining sustaining life and sustainable life on a beautiful planet. Earth is beautiful. Whether it's silica-based or carbon-based, to me, it doesn't make any difference either. That's irrelevant as well. But we get to fighting over which is true, which is false. Now, as I said, there is geological evidence that the Earth is not what we've been told. Our history is not what we've been told. But you don't have to look very far beyond our own generation to see the deception and the deceivers. They are obvious. I mean, if politicians and heads of state and heads of corporations, which corporations have become states, which means corpses, they're dead entities. If we don't see that they are lying, if their lips are moving, they're lying. If we don't recognize that, we don't have even an inkling of how to rise above and get to the place where we can actually fulfill what all of the spiritual teachers have taught us through the ages. Whether you want to claim they were of God or whatever, or good or bad, or whatever labels you want to put on them, they all talked about love in one way or another. All of them. Whether we're talking about the founders of Hinduism or Buddhism or Judaism or Christianity or the Muslim faith or any of the other more minor faiths that have grown up in between, we still are left with the dilemma of how are we going to learn to cooperate instead of compete. Competition is fine for sport, but it's lousy for life. We are not going to be able to love one another if we're constantly competing over ideologies, which means simply ideas. And the ideas are ideas that divide. They're not ideas that bring us together. It's irrelevant who Jesus was, or who the Buddha was, or who any of these people, or Moses, or it's irrelevant if we don't cooperate and get beyond the game that has been played by whatever Earth's rulers have been or are. This game that's being played is about division. It's about enslavement. It's not about freedom. It's not about becoming more awakened and more aware. It's about putting us to sleep. It's a brainwashing mechanism that has been put in place based on lies, folks, based on things that do not add up and don't even make sense if we could just get a little bit outside of it and look at it with objectivity. But that's such a challenge for us as human beings because of the mass brainwashing that has taken place over generations and generations. I really want to see us wake up. What's it going to take? It doesn't matter what shape the earth is. It doesn't matter which religion is right. They all have something right about them. It doesn't matter most of the things that divide us. These things don't matter one hill of beans. They only matter to those that want to create animosity and separation. I work and long in my heart to see unity. And I pray that we will have enough awakened people, and more than just people, awakened deities, or whatever the creator is, that will stop the insanity, stop the nonsense that enslaves us. On that note, I bid you adieu and say namaste and thank you for listening. Bye-bye.